Hey, what's going on, movie lovers? I'm Jeff.
My name's Kyle. I'm a shadow box like Hugh Jackman.
Fucking cool.
Yeah.
We are Shop I Like This podcast where we talk about how much we like film and we don't hate movies. And like you just said, today we're talking about Real Steel.
I'm excited for this one. Are you?
I'm super fucking pumped, actually. And then this is episode 69. Next week will be 70. Pretty
Should have
crazy.
done a Kevin Smith movie. We should have saved Zack and Miri
Right,
for episode 69.
Yeah, definitely.
Planning is neither of our strong suits.
We just kind of wing it.
Maybe you, Indie Gamer Magazine plug time, you're good at planning and doing layouts.
I kind of wing that too.
Yeah. Don't tell them.
Yeah.
Don't tell the folks at home.
It's done 4 weeks at a time. So Real Steel 2011, real quick, critic score is 60%, audience score is 73%.
Awesome.
So that's a pretty big, 73%, that's pretty fucking good.
Pretty good, even
score.
for critics.
Yeah, 60%. But I think, because I'm going to mention something, I think it kind of gets a couple bumps.
You think so?
For some things. I'll mention real quick.
Okay.
So, producer, Steven Spielberg. So I think that kind of gives it a bump. Music, Danny Elfman.
Yes.
I think that gets a bump. So I think it kind of had some little bumps there, according to critics. You know, it was stupid, but Spielberg produced it, so I'll give it another 10%.
Danny Elfman up a little bit, unless he's doing fucking Justice League, then we're all gonna be like, what the fuck?
Dumb.
Whatever, I practically cried when he had the Batman theme in Justice League.
God,
it was fucking great stuff. I wanted to really quick, and I guess now's as good a time as any to mention it. It's such a shame that this movie bombed at the box office, because...
Did it?
Yeah, it did. It was a bust at the box office.
I thought I was looking at made like 100 million.
Yeah, it didn't do what they projected, and that's why we never got a sequel for it. I was reading a lot of the cast and stuff, what they said about it. This was that a lot of people didn't see the movie in theaters, but when people finally got around to watching it, people like it. That's why it has a fairly decent audience score for it. It's like once people actually watched it, this movie's good.
Right.
I like this movie. Unfortunately, people didn't really support it in theaters, and that killed any chance of getting a sequel made.
And it's weird because it's a little early. 2011 is still pretty early for like Netflix and stuff.
Yeah.
If this was a little bit later, I think it maybe would have recouped it a little bit more.
I know.
If this came out in 14, 15...
This would have been the perfect movie to be on Netflix, because then you don't have to worry about box office numbers, and it can find its audience more naturally that way.
Definitely.
And what was because the lady that Evangeline Lilly was the one that I was reading the interview about. She felt that the marketing didn't do the movie justice. That it was marketed more as like a sci-fi Transformers kind of thing.
I see that.
And you go watch it, and it's like you can bring your kids to this movie, and
definitely.
your kids are gonna fucking love it. And it's like Rocky and robots,
exactly.
Hugh Jackman and all this cool stuff. And it's like the people who should have went out to support it, that would have liked it, didn't because of the marketing. And the people who did see it were disappointed because it wasn't Pacific Rim or Transformers or...
Coming off of that, I wrote down Iron Giant,
Yes.
Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
Boy and His Robot.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is.
Good comparison.
Yeah, that's immediately what I thought of. Because let's run through the cast real fast, and then we can do first experiences and stuff. So the cast, of course, Hugh Jackman. He's been on the show before, Wolverine. Evangeline Lilly, she's now Wasp in Ant-Man and Wasp. And she's been around. She's
in
great.
Lost, the TV show.
Is she on Lost?
I think so.
I haven't seen Lost.
I think so.
I never got into it.
I never finished it.
I think I watched the first season.
Yeah.
But I just...
First season
wasn't for me.
First season was the good season.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie, before he was Falcon.
Right.
I knew him as Papa Doc from 8 Mile.
We talk about this all the time. It's fun, actors like him, that you don't know who the hell he was in 2011, but now you do. And so you go back and he feels like a bigger role in the film.
Yeah.
Because I know that actor. I like that actor.
Yeah. Same with Kevin Durant. I love Kevin Durant.
See the guy from...
Walking Tall. He's one of the bad guys.
Was he in, like...
X-Men Origins? Wolverine.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
He always fought, and the dude's a fucking giant. But I love Kevin Durant.
Did he play Blob?
He was, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he was in one of the Legend of Chun-Li Street Fighter movie or something. I'm the only person who's seen it.
Maybe, probably. He's one of those guys that's in like everything.
Yeah, I love Kevin Durant. I want to see him in more. And then Carl Yoon, who plays Zeus's, the Asia guy, Zeus's owner or whatever. He's been in I think he might have been in what we talked about, Wolverine. I think maybe he was in that.
Maybe?
And I think he's on Arrow as well. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's on Arrow, one of the assassins when he goes up into the mountains and shit.
Nice.
But it was cool seeing him because I've seen him in a lot of other stuff. And then I mentioned music by Danny Elfman, producer Steven Spielberg, which is really awesome. And
who was the kid? Did you write who the kid was?
Not his name, but he is. He played young Thor in the Thor movie.
Oh shit!
He was. He's done a lot of work.
Yeah.
Not quite since like 2013. He very child actor, but yeah, he had quite a few roles. I wish I could remember the other thing.
He was good.
He played another young so-and-so in another movie. Mostly roles like that.
He looked a little bit like Anakin
Don't
Skywalker.
Say it, yes.
You knew it.
Yes.
you seen
I
it
was going to
too?
mention him, yes. Because we talked about Jingle All the Way. And he reminds me of that kid a little bit. Yeah.
The fucking Anakin. Only a good actor.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
Time machine.
I was going to say the same damn thing.
We have George Lucas special edition Star Wars and just CG this kid into fix that shit.
I was going to say the same damn thing. That's funny.
So I'm glad I'm not the only one who does that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Director Sean Levy. Director Sean Levy has directed 6 episodes of Stranger Things.
Oh,
which is pretty awesome. And then he did a lot of those. He's done All the Night at the Museums.
You know what? I will support those. I like those movies. I think they're fun. I've seen 1 and 2. I don't know if I've seen 3.
I saw the first one. I didn't mind it.
Robin Williams, Ben Stiller. It's good stuff. It's a good family movie.
It's been a long
time. It's a good family movie.
Yeah. I remember seeing it when it came out in like 2009 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And then he did Date Night with Steve Carell and
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey,
that one's funny.
I
like that one too. I like movies, folks.
He's He's done a lot of great stuff. And then writer is John Gattens. He wrote one of my favorite is Coach Carter. I love Coach Carter. Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson. The basketball film. Okay.
Yes, love that movie.
Yeah.
Really good. He wrote Flight with Denzel. Oh man.
Is that the one on the airplane where he plays like the
he's a cocaine addict?
Not what I was thinking of.
Oh my gosh. Flight. Denzel is a cocaine addict. He gets on he's a fucking pilot. He gets on high. One of the engines goes out, and he ends up landing the plane high and saves everybody.
Based on a true story?
I don't know. but then it's really cool. Like, it goes through the whole legal proceeding, and he talks about, like, well, nobody else could have landed that plane. Nobody else could have done what I did. They're like, but you were fucking high on cocaine.
Yeah.
And it's a really fucking good movie.
I've never seen that one.
Oh, man. It's really good. He wrote that. And then he...
You should remake it with Tom Hanks. Make it a sequel to that other airplane movie that Tom Hanks just did. Sully, yeah.
No.
Sully 2.
Flight's way better.
He's just doing lines of cocaine in the bathroom.
And John Gattens wrote the new Power Rangers, which is a little disappointing. I just watched it.
I've seen that on Hulu the other day. I was
not worth
due to Jeff's recommendation, I will not be watching this.
Not worth it. And then we just mentioned it a little bit, but now it's Real Steel 2 is in the air.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's listed. It's on IMDb. They have writers attached, and so it's lurking.
The interview I read with Evangeline Lilly, she said that she doesn't know 100% what the status of the movie is. So she's like, I'm not sure. She even said that she gave them ideas for like, here's what I would do with a sequel. Because she really liked it. She really thought it was a cool movie.
Way awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm hopeful. I think this would be good. Cop-out answer all the time.
I would say it all the time.
But it'd be great for Netflix to pick this up and do something with it.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of getting back to where we were, I wanted to run through all that real fast. Real quick, this was nominated for an Oscar.
What?
Yeah.
No, you're shitting me.
No, for
In
visual
what category?
effects.
Visual effects?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
It looked really good.
It did.
The robots all look like fucking robots. It doesn't look like it's plastered and posterized and green screen and all this other shit. Like, it just looks like he's standing next to a robot.
Yeah.
It looks really good. Yeah, it was nominated for an Oscar.
We take for granted how good special effects are when you can watch a movie like this and you just forget. Mm-hmm. You just kind of forget that, oh, that doesn't really exist.
Right. It looked
We're
great.
spoiled.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. So getting back to where we were before we ran through the cast. So the first time I saw this, it's been 8 years since I saw this.
Yeah.
I saw this pretty recently after it came out on video on demand. I did, I think I've talked about it before, I did a clinical trial in Madison. Mm-hmm.
That's where you got your mutant superpowers.
Yeah. Right.
It's like Weapon X. Yeah.
So I was there for two weeks. We couldn't leave the facility. We couldn't exercise. We couldn't really, all we could do was sit around. So all we did was watch movies. I watched like The Gray when it came out. I watched this. I watched a bunch of shit. So I remember watching it. And then I watched it today real fast because I was busy. And holy fuck, I barely remembered any of it.
Yeah.
All I remembered was the end where he takes control and does the shadow boxing shit.
That was also heavily in the previews.
Oh, really?
The previews,
okay.
yeah.
That's the only part I remember.
The previews were like that shot where he like runs and jumps.
Oh, of course.
That's in the previews, and it's a lot of like Hugh Jack's shadow boxing.
Money shot.
Yeah. Yep.
That's probably why I remember it then, because I told myself, yeah, I've seen this, and then I watched it, and I was like, I don't remember fucking shit. But oh my god, I ended up having such a good fucking time watching this.
Good, I'm glad. I did too.
It's such a good movie. It's so much fun. I don't understand why. I guess like you said with the marketing and everything, and how it probably kind of got shoved to the side because of that, but. I understand why it has such a cult following.
Everyone made fun of it. It was the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie.
So? That sounds awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
But wasn't this close to like when Idiot Battleship came out?
Yeah, I think Battleship was 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like right around there when you were getting those G.I. Joe and like those dumb movies.
Yeah.
And so I think Real Steel got unfairly lumped in with
That's funny.
some of those dipshit films.
It's funny too, because 2011, I graduated 2011. So like I remember like Thor, Green Lantern, The Gray, Real Steel, Immortals. I remember all these films that came out because that was like my senior summer. Like I'd be like, I'm going to movies every day. I have to go to school.
Yeah.
And so that's all I did. And so like I just remember watching. And then when I went and did the clinical trial, all I did was watch these fucking movies. And so I don't know, like everybody talks about 2011 and like, oh, it's such a garbage year for film. I'm like, I saw everything and I loved it all. I love Immortals. I've talked about I want to do Immortals on here. I love Immortals.
I wasn't a big fan of it.
Oh man,
that one.
Real Steel. This is a great fucking movie from 2011. The Gray is awesome. Green Lantern. Say what you want. I fucking like Green Lantern. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Thor. Thor's good. I like Thor.
The first Thor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah. You get to see Asgard, fucking Heimdall, and all that shit.
Yeah.
Fucking cool. So 2011, I just, fuck you guys. It was a good year. I had a good time with film in 2011. And Real Steel, I'm glad I went back and rewatched it because it was definitely worth a rewatch.
So Real Steel was when I worked at the theater here in town. And so I got to build up a copy of this movie myself on 35 millimeter.
Nice.
And I got to watch it after hours, just in the theater, just me hanging out, watching Real Steel. That was my first experience with it.
By yourself, or did you have buddies come over?
Just by myself. Maybe Mike was there. I don't remember. He used to come in and we used after hours just watch movies and shit.
Yeah.
It'd be cool because we were one of the bigger theaters in our small little chain at the time. And so I would get prints from other theaters to break down and to send back. So I get shit that we wouldn't see, that, like we wouldn't be showing at our theater, but I'd have prints of it in the basement. And so I'd be like, hey Mike, want to come watch like Resident Evil 4 or
Fuck yeah.
or whatever? Never came to the theaters here in town. Like, I got a copy of it. You want to watch it before I break it down? And be like, sure.
Definitely.
So we would like load it up, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, let me go. Got another spool of movies downstairs. Load it up.
That's funny that you talk about, because the whole chain, the people who owned it here, not now, but at that time, owned the one in Newton. And I talked about this before too, but I dated a girl from Newton. Her parents worked at the theater down there. And so, like, I would watch free movies there, come back, watch more movies. And so it was weird how small of a world it is. The two fucking theaters that I went to ended up being connected.
Yeah, I know. That's Iowa for you.
So then, like, 2011 was, like, the summer that I watched everything. And then 2012, I just watched a bunch of dumb shit for free. Like Rise of the Guardians and Red Tails. And I saw all that stuff.
Right, you just watch all this junk that you just don't know if it's any good. And that was kind of my... part of the reason why I wanted to go back and watch Real Steel, because I don't own a copy of it on DVD. I haven't.
Me either.
I like it. I'm going to now.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched it since I had a copy of it at the theater, and I couldn't remember. Do I actually like the movie because it's good, or did I like it because of the experience and the time, and it's free, and I get to watch it basically alone in a theater by myself because that's fun, and you just like movies more sometimes because of the experience with them. And it was nice to know that this movie holds up really well,
really fucking well,
and it's really good.
Yeah,
I recommend it.
This is something now that I want to, like you said, you can
watch this with your kids.
So my kids love they watch the Power Rangers series, they watched Wonder Woman, we just watched Infinity Wars, and they love that. I want to watch fucking Real Steel now with my kids.
They didn't get scared in Infinity War?
There was a couple parts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What part?
Like when the very beginning when Thanos gets on the ship and kills everybody.
Sure.
They didn't like that. They didn't like...
They're probably too young to understand the snap.
Yeah, that didn't bother them.
They didn't
bother them. Yeah. No, I was like, no! And they're like, what? There was just like a couple images that were like, what was that? Like that
maybe Red
creepy.
Skull.
I don't think so. It was like one of the moments, like the fucking trolls, or not the troll, the dwarf scared them. When they go to
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah. When he comes out of nowhere and he's like, Duh. They're like, whoa, like just
that's
stuff
cool.
that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That, like when we were watching Aquaman, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to have my kids watch this. And then it gets to the fucking...
The fish.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
I forget already. The krill.
I want to call them parademons.
You're right. Something like that.
The underwater parademons.
And yeah, we're sitting in the theater and Caitlin's like, oh, girls would love this. And then it got to that part and we both looked at each other like, maybe not.
No.
But this fucking Real Steel, I can't wait. Like tomorrow night, I want to fucking watch this again with my kids, see if they like it.
I think they would.
Because it's just, it's fun. It's a very, it's produced by Spielberg, but it feels very Spielberg-y.
It does.
It's like E.T. and stuff. It's just fun. And
I have made a mental note that this reminds me of a movie that if I would have been 10 years old when this came out.
Oh my God,
this would have been my favorite movie of all time. Yeah. I would have watched it on DVD or VHS or whatever, just every day during summer break. I'm gonna watch Real Steel just every day during summer break.
That's every kid's dream.
Yeah.
You can have a big robot to hang out with and fight.
Right.
Oh my God.
Like the way the kid in this movie reacts is the way you would react to having a giant fucking
jumping
robot.
around and like, oh my God, and
so
freaking
cool.
out.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I love that little kid. It was
and that's a good comparison too, because it reminded me a lot of just movies that I loved as a kid, like The Goonies, and
it has that feeling, that little essence that you're just like, it takes you back to like you just said, if I was a kid, this would be the world. It has that same feeling, and it's a bummer that a lot of people missed out on it, because I think if they sat down and watched it, they would kind of feel that little kid joy.
I know.
And be like, oh my goodness! Like
that's why I'm happy that there's 73% of the people who did watch it like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's a quality fucking film.
Absolutely. Yeah, and to throw in Hugh Jackman, Evangeline Lilly's great, Anthony Mackie, Kevin Durant, all these people that were on board, and even with the star power, people still didn't go see it.
Yeah,
that's crazy to me. In 2011, Hugh Jackman, I would have watched it. I did watch everything. I watched it, but I didn't remember anything. But it's crazy that people would see Hugh Jackman and not go.
Yeah. Did you think it was funny that it kind of shares a similarity with Logan, in the fact that in Logan it's Hugh Jackman and the girl ends up being his daughter, and it's kind of like their...
Gotcha. I see what you're doing.
You know how they kind of like, I don't know, not coming,
that same dynamic.
Not coming of age.
That same dynamic of a father accepting his child.
Yeah, and then they grow with one another. It's the same thing in this movie.
It kind of is, yeah. Except he gets to live at the end.
Spoilers.
Yeah. No, it's definitely...
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of... I was just watching The Mummies on Netflix. And so I was just watching...
The Brendan Fraser?
Yes.
Okay.
So we should do that.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, I was just watching that, and it's a horror movie disguised as an action-adventure comedy film.
Right?
This is it's kind of a coming-of-age kind of boy and his kid meets sci-fi robots meets... It's got a lot of emotion and feeling wrapped around this, we're going to go fight robots! It's like, that's what you go for, but then you end up staying because of the dynamic and seeing the little kid and his robot. Like Iron Giant and Big Hero 6 and stuff, so.
Iron Giant and Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6, I think, is a really good comparison.
I really enjoy that movie. I watched it with my kids. I ended up liking it more.
I fucking cried in the end of Big Hero 6.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
movie that's good.
And I love the gifs and memes that came out of it, too.
Yeah.
Like when Baymax comes home and he's like, shh, and he's like stumbling down the stairs, and it's like me and my friends when I come home drunk, and my friends are shushing me. There was a lot of good memes and gifs that came out of it.
You have kids, and I remember this from when I worked at the theater, would show a lot of kids' movies. And I think a lot of kids' films in particular are terrible because...
They're dumbed down.
They're dumbed down, and it's just... here's a good example. The Madagascar movies are literally just animals making silly faces this close to the camera with a pop song playing in the background, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely it. Big Hero 6, I adore movies like that because there's a plot, and it's not dumbed down, and it's a film.
Right.
I think that's, you know where I'm getting at here?
Well, I think that's kind of a new invention, too, because especially when I was growing up with the Disney films, just in the 90s, think of Pocahontas, Mulan, Hercules,
Toy Story, Lion King.
All those films that came out. Exactly.
Mulan.
It was all... Like, rewatching Lion King, it's like, I watched this when I was 4.
Right?
I was like, are you kidding me? But it's just... The way that they portray certain things in a cartoon and in Hercules, he's like killing things.
Yeah.
But it's still... It's I don't know how to explain it. It gives you building blocks. Because when I grew up, I wanted to be like Hercules when I was a kid. But I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to say that, like, I feel like those films that I grew up with gave you a purpose, and saying that this is what people have to do to be better. They have to better themselves. And a lot of things now, it's just toilet humor, essentially, for children.
Yeah.
There's no real character development. And Mulan shows that women can be just as badass as men. Pocahontas is a fucking dark story about love and compassion and caring for other people. Hercules is about being courageous and taking help when you need help. There's a lot of great stories that I grew up with, like the Toy Story. You know, there's dark stuff that I watch it now and I'm like, whoa, why wouldn't I want my kid to see that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, you gotta kind of like let them develop. You can't just shelter them. Yeah, that's how we get a lot of my generation now.
Yeah.
Because they were sheltered and don't look at that. Why? Let them see. Like, and it's a fucking cartoon. It's Disney. It's not going to be like hugely graphic and anything. It's just going to show life, I guess. And
we're off.
Yeah.
I know we're off on a weird side tangent, but go back to the original Ninja Turtles cartoon and the first couple seasons. They actually follow like a television series. How like episode 1 leads into episode 2, leads into episode 3.
Right.
So you can be 7-8 episodes in, they'll reference something they did back in episode 1.
Yeah.
For like a children's cartoon, that's almost unheard of. Right. Usually it's like a 30-minute short that's a standalone thing, and that's it. And like children's movies or shows that understand that kids know what's going on.
Exactly.
They can follow a plot.
Yeah.
I always respect things like that. And I do think...
I think we're talking about toddlers, like 3 to 7. And older. But I'm like a 2-year-old's not going to follow it. But like my 3-year-old will sit there and follow along with everything. And it's just, I think a lot, I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but they're dumbing down cartoons because they think that children are dumb.
Yeah.
And children are not dumb.
I agree.
So.
I don't remember how we got off on that side topic.
I don't know, but that's a good...
It's a good discussion.
Yeah.
I guess because I think that Real Steel, like we keep talking about, is a movie that we would have been fans of
as we were kids. Definitely.
Yep.
And so this is definitely something I want to sit down with my kids and watch, because I'm sure my 3-year-old would go fucking nuts. She would love it, seeing those fucking cool robots and stuff fighting each other, and it's like Rocky, and it's like everything that I love put in with like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. It's awesome. And there's a ton of Rocky references for sure. Even at the end when the kid's up on the shoulder and he looks up and you see that kind of weird up angle face shot of him. It's like at the end of Rocky. And there's a bunch of references like Mohawk and stuff with the Clubber Lang character, and Zeus, Apollo. It's like 2 gods. And so I don't know. It's just, it comes from a lot of different angles and puts it all together. And it kind of blows me away.
Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about, I think, the really cool world building aspect they do in Real Steel, because I'm a sucker for shit like that. I like when movies take the time to set up what is going on. So there are robots that are fighting in this universe, and I thought it was interesting the way there was like the top tier, what is it called?
World
Robot
Battle or something?
Fighting League or something. Beside the point, arbitrary. I really love the idea that, well, there are other people like you and me who don't have the money to do that, who just build robots out of scraps, and they fight in local fairs and wherever else, and all these weird...
The empty zoo.
All these other weird places. Like, that's cool to me.
Yeah.
I just like that. I just like seeing the robots that are pieced together out of other robots in the...
junkyard.
The junkyard.
That was a cool scene.
They find, what's the robot's name? Adam?
Adam, yeah.
Adam. They find Adam in the junkyard. Reminded me a little bit of, like you said, Iron Giant.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Coming off of that, I was just talking about... Wow, I don't remember what I was going for. I feel like I keep talking in loops this episode, like I'm talking in circles. Talking about world building, stuff like that. Then we're talking about little fights. Did you have anything else you wanted to say? Because I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I was just going to say that I think that it's cool because it makes it more believable when there's all these different nuances and levels to what's going on in the film. Because it could have easily just been a movie about Hugh Jackman and this robot fighting league, and that's it. And I thought that it's cool that he starts out, as he was a previous boxer.
Yeah.
For one thing.
Yeah, that's a cool...
For one thing, too.
Character beat.
It
comes back huge in the end and everything, but that whole progression that they talk about between human fighters and how they kept growing and growing and people wanted more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then it progressed up to what it is now. And now the boxer is like a relic now. Like people don't
go through that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. People don't even have the boxing anymore. It's just robots and everything. And I remember what I was going to say. I just watched on YouTube last week, because we talked about we were going to do Real Steel. And I heard that we talked about BattleBots.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring that up too.
There's they brought it back. And I was watching some of the 2018 stuff, and it's gets me excited because I want to fucking fight robots.
Yeah.
And so I watched probably 3 or 4 matches of this stuff, and it's like, I don't want to say it's not far off, but some of the things that these people create and the controllers are just like in Real Steel and everything.
I know.
It's like,
I thought that was a nice little touch to it.
It's just super impressive what the BattleBots people did. And I remember watching it back in, what, 04 when it came out?
Might have been like 03,
it
04.
It was around there. And, like, I was a kid. I just remember, like, me and my stepdad would sit there and fucking, this is the coolest thing ever.
BattleBots is cool. I loved BattleBots when I was a kid.
And then, some of this newer stuff, like, what people are able to create, I don't want to say it's not far off from real steel, but it's, like, a real possibility. Robots like this are gonna happen, I think.
They have Japanese fighting robots. Now, it's not like real steel, folks. They're that big. Have you seen... I'll have to show the YouTube video to you.
Yeah.
They're like that big, and they control them with, like, controllers, and they can, like, pick the other robot up and, like, slam it down and shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. It's cool.
Yeah,
I don't know if we'll ever get to...
Oh, I think we will.
This level...
I think we will.
But
according in the film, it said it was 2020. So, I mean, we got next year, and it's happening.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think it was 2020.
Because they say that this robot, Adam, was from 2014.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. A second-gen robot for sparring.
Yeah.
And everything.
2014. So we should already have one.
Yeah. We should have a second-gen
We need to go to the junkyard, Jeff.
Yeah.
What are you doing when we're done
robots?
recording? I've seen BattleBots a little bit at the state fair a couple years back.
What
Yeah, at the Iowa State Fair.
They had BattleBots there?
They didn't have two, like, it wasn't two robots that fought one another, but they had, like, the little plexiglass thing, little cage arena thing that they're in, and it was a free show that you could go to, or they brought one out and they showed how it worked, and they drove them around, and then they gave a kid from the audience, like an RC car, just like a normal RC car, and then the guy with the BattleBot, like, destroyed it in the ring and shit.
That's
like,
messed up.
It was really pretty cool, and they showed, like, how they work and shit. And it's super fascinating.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a big nerd. That was my favorite part of the state fair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing what they're able to create and everything.
I remember watching that show and always thinking, man, it would be so cool to build that shit.
Right.
Like, I want to build one.
You could just take a Roomba now, put a gun on it.
Right?
But that's
Maybe that's why I find this so appealing. Do you think so?
I mean, it's definitely from an era when, like, I mean, Rock'em Sock'em was a little bit before our time, but I still played with Rock'em Sock'em robots. Yeah. So I grew up with that stuff, but stuff like BattleBots was right around our age. And seeing that little kid react to the fucking real steel bots is like how we reacted to the fucking BattleBots. And when Zeus walks by and one of the guys gives him that little towel with the Zeus thing on it, like a little merchandise thing, like, that'd be the coolest thing ever. Even, like, if you were a kid and you went to a training camp or something and some guy just threw his wristband at you or something, it's like, that's the coolest moment of your life when you're a kid.
Right.
Even now, like, I'd go crazy if, like, someone threw their wristband at me, you know, but
yeah.
But, like, when you're a kid, like, that's the biggest thing ever. There was a time I was really into, like, Supercross, and
I know, because you talk about that dumb motocross.
Yeah,
Supercross movie
exactly.
What was the name of it?
Supercross.
Supercross.
Yeah. But my dad actually knew somebody, and we would go to his races and stuff. And one time, this was before they blew up the Kingdome, and in Seattle, and we went to the Kingdome and we watched him race. And he was racing with, like, some of the big, like, he got into one of the big races and everything. And the Kingdom was just packed. And I was like, my dad, I was too scared to talk to him. But my dad talked to him and stuff. He's like, if you get anything, you know, just give it to the kid, that'd be awesome. He's like, I'll try. And he was winning. He was in second, well, not winning. He was in second place, but he was doing really good for a nobody. And he ended up wiping out. And so after the race and everything, he gave me a piece of his bike.
Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing.
That's cool.
I was like 6 years old. It was like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, just dumb shit like that. My uncle was a mechanic, and so when he used to help out with, like, the stock car drivers and stuff in town, there was one guy that he would, like, I could get down, like, in the pits, and I don't even like racing as a kid. What the fuck is racing as a kid? Who cares? As an adult, I really don't care. But
neither really.
When you're like 7 and you can go down into the pits before the race, it's like the it's like the coolest thing in the world.
It's just the experience,
yeah,
and seeing all that stuff up close and everything. So, yeah, and I see all of this. Like, this is what captures our imagination with real steel. like putting ourselves into that little kid's shoes, like I can't even imagine.
I wish there would have been more progression of the kid working on the robot.
They skipped over the night that he put in like the voice activator thing, and he stayed up all night, hopped up on Dr. Pepper and everything. So they skipped through a lot of it, but like before the fights and everything, seeing the kid dance around with the robot,
I thought was really cool.
That's like super fun and cool. That's the point that I think a lot of critics missed with it, is they weren't just enjoying themselves. They weren't having fun. They weren't putting themselves in that position. They were just sitting there going, that doesn't look real.
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous.
That's not the way you approach a movie.
Especially about
like this.
fucking battle bots. I don't know.
What was I going to say?
Eminem.
What about Eminem?
There's 2 Eminem songs, both edited. Yeah.
There is.
Yeah. I forget what the first one was. It was like Shake That or something. But then the second one was him and Rolls or 5'9", Life in the Fast Lane, Bad Meets Evil album. The hell is it? But yeah, and both of them are edited all to hell. So because it's PG-13 and everything. So
did you have any sort of beef with the movie?
At all? No. Loved it. Perfect. Flawless.
Nothing wrong. Nothing flawless. About the only thing that I thought was like, so the kid starts out like controlling the robot in the first couple fights.
Right.
And then when they get to like the World League, it's like Hugh Jackman is just like, give me that shit. And just like takes over for him. Did you have any issue at all with that? Would it have been cooler if the kid would have been the one on the sticks and, taking him that far until the very end of the movie when they have to switch over and do the shadow boxing and then he takes over? Would that have been a cooler story beat? Because I was kind of like, man, it was like halfway through the movie and he's just like, give me that fucking controller, and just like takes it from him. That was the only thing that kind of stood out.
I guess, yeah.
But it doesn't matter. That didn't ruin the movie for me. I just noticed it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because when you first see him at the fight in the zoo, he's pretty much telling him what to do anyway.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. I think it's just more or less the kid being stubborn and wanting, like, you don't believe in me and my robot? I'll do it then. And then once it gets to the point, kid's like, I'm way out of my league. I just started doing this last week. We're going up against Zeus. You should probably do this.
It came across a little bit like when it got to the point where we can make money on this. Give me that fucking controller, kid. Fuck you.
You're going to make a bunch of money. I don't know. He made a bunch of money.
It's fine. It's whatever. I just noticed it in the film, and I had to bring it up.
If that was my kid, like, for sure I'd fucking take, like, no, the adults. No, you had your fun.
Fuck your hobby.
Yeah, no, you had fun in the zoo. You had fun at all these little scrap fights. Once we get to the big leagues, and I know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, yeah, fuck you. I'm fucking taking over. And the kid was underage. I mean, would you let him drive?
I don't know. Is there an age limit? What are the restrictions on robots?
You have to get a license to fight robots?
You probably should.
Right? You would think so.
There should probably be some kind of license.
Okay. I do have one little thing. Like, especially when they're in the zoo or they're around the car, like in the center of the cars and it's like a mosh pit.
Yeah.
I'd back way the fuck up. Why the hell is everybody so close when they're fighting robods?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm a chicken shit.
How much did they say the robot weighed?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah.
That would crush you?
Yeah, definitely. And they're like standing right there like, wow! Those little girls almost get crushed by the arm or the leg in the very beginning. With the bull. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Kill someone.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, it'd be like BattleBots. Like, I want fucking tempered bulletproof glass all the way around. And I don't want any part of that. So, there's my one beef with it. Why the fuck are they standing so close?
Because it's fun.
But
maybe that makes more sense for like the underground fights, but when it came to the big WWE arena fights at the end of it, maybe they should have had some kind of
definitely
more BattleBots looking thing.
That's the only thing
we're nitpicking.
Yeah, no, definitely.
A lot right now.
It's just like I would not stand that close at all.
Yeah.
And what got, like, as soon as the first fight with the bull, like I was instantly hooked. Too.
I didn't like that part.
Really?
I didn't like the fight with the bull. I like
when he body slams and just drops the bull.
It wasn't my favorite. I really didn't like that part.
That was
Just
hilarious.
I don't know. I don't like bullfighting in general. I think that's really...
It's a movie.
I know. I know, but I'm like, do we need to do this? Really?
I thought it was awesome. Robot Rocky. Like I said,
how good just Hugh Jackman is.
Okay,
we kind of have a little bit, but
one thing I really this is really what I wish.
He had claws in the movie.
I wish they would have let him use his natural Australian accent.
He does a really good Australian accent, doesn't he? It's a joke. No,
but I understand with like Wolverine and doing all that stuff, but like in a film like this where it really doesn't matter that he's American or whatever, they go all over the world.
They never. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Just let him use his natural accent. I don't know why.
They probably don't because it's weird to a lot of people because you don't hear him so much with that. I remember when he was in the movie Australia.
Yes,
remember when that movie came out?
Nicole Kidman.
I worked at the video store. That's why I make that joke all the time because there was a lot of fucking people who were like, "Man, he does a really good Australian accent." I'm like, he is from fucking there. That's his voice. Like when you hear him in Wolverine and Logan, that's an accent.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, he does a good job.
He's really good with it. That's his actual voice. Nicole Kidman.
You haven't seen that. That's like a lovey-dovey movie.
I've seen it.
What? But you give me shit about watching your mom's movies?
No,
that's
maybe.
Your mom movie.
Maybe.
Fucking yeah.
That's when I worked at the video store, though.
No, that's a good movie. Yeah. But like, what other? Has there been any other movies where he uses his natural Aussie?
Oh God, I'm sure. Not that.
You think so?
I mean, there has to be more than just one. I can't without going through his whole profile. I don't know.
That's interesting.
When he sings, it comes out a little bit, doesn't it?
In Les Mis, I wonder if it kind of. Well, doesn't he?
There was a couple times in this movie where it kind of slips. Did you catch that?
Not really.
Yeah, a little bit. You can kind of hear him kind of slip, little in and out.
That's the one thing I really wish is because in a film like this where it doesn't matter, just let him roll with it.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say before?
I don't remember. Okay. There's probably some...
you wanted to talk about him a little bit more.
He's enjoyable. Of course, he's Hugh Jackman, but I want to see him in more movies. And
he's in a ton of movies.
I know, but as much as everyone's like, come back and do more Wolverine, like, I'm okay with him not doing Wolverine anymore because I want to see him in a variety.
Real Steel 2.
I want to see Real Steel 2, yeah.
Swordfish 2.
Yes, maybe.
Not really.
I don't remember what the plot of Swordfish was that much.
He's a hacker. John Travolta doesn't kidnap him, but forces him to. We should watch Swordfish.
Watch Swordfish.
That's stupid good.
Does he have an accent in that one?
Kind of. He tries to hide it, but it's a little bit more noticeable in that, I think. Especially like right in the beginning when he's like driving golf balls off the top of his trailer home. I think it sounds a little Aussie.
You'd be good in a Mad Max film.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
That totally fits.
Let's just get all the Australian actors and have them do Mad Max again. That's Mel Gibson. I think has kind of lost his accent because I was just listening to him talk about. It was one of those director roundtable things where he's sitting with like a bunch of Oscar people. I think he's lost it.
You think so?
Yeah, he didn't really sound too Aussie.
I suppose if you talk long enough.
Yeah.
That does happen to people who are away from their home country for a long time.
Because it's like you watch the first Mad Max and it's like a completely different person.
Yeah.
I love that movie though.
I've never seen the second one.
You've never seen The Road Warrior?
Nope.
What in the flying...
I've never seen that one. I've never seen the one with Tina Turner.
You've never seen Thunderdome?
Never seen Thunderdome.
That's not the greatest, but you still haven't seen Thunderdome?
Never seen Thunderdome.
That's fucked up. For as much as you love the new one,
yeah,
you think you would have seen...
I didn't really get into the series until the new one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know, right?
Even if we don't talk about it, we should just have a fucking Mad Max marathon.
Movie night.
Yeah. Mad Max is incredible.
If we could ever get nice weather, we could drive the movie outside again.
Yeah.
And,
put it on the back porch and get some torches going.
yeah. No, we're in another polar vortex, Jeff.
No shit has been colder than hell. So do you have a favorite scene that you want to talk about?
Oh, God. I forgot. What would be my favorite scene in the movie? I really like the one, it was the Dr. Pepper scene, apparently, according to that critic online who had an issue with it.
So we're real fast before you get into the scene. Mention what that critic said, and I want to shut him down.
I thought this was dumb, because I didn't even know what he was... I watched the movie, just watched it last night. I'm like, what is he talking about? This is a guy who gave it a 1 out of 5. He said, it's an incredibly cynical movie written and acted by robots. Ah, ha, ha, you're so clever. And boasting the most flagrant piece of product placement for a certain soft drink. I legitimately had to ask you what soft drink he was talking about. Because I watched the whole movie. Movie's what, 2 hours?
Yeah.
2 hours long? I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I seen no product placement in this movie. Apparently.
It was Dr. Pepper. The kid stays up all night working on the robot, and he drinks a bunch of Dr. Pepper. And it was pretty much only in that part.
But it's not like they hold it up to the camera and are like, Dr. Pepper, it's Mountain Dew, but, I drank this all night. Like, they don't do that.
Right. And
I didn't even notice it.
Just giving you a hit in the trivia is they weren't even paid to do that. They asked Dr. Pepper if they could use their soft drink, and they said, yeah, but that's it. They weren't even paid for it, so it's not really product placement.
Yeah. What a fucktard. Like, how is that, your opening lead to your review?
For a 30-second scene of him drinking a Dr. Pepper out of the whole 2-hour movie. Like,
yeah.
That's...
And there's so much other blatant product placement in other movies that just blow this out of the park that I can't believe that that's the point you would stick to. Anyway, that scene I enjoyed because I wanted to see more of the kid building the robot. Yeah. And I thought it was cool that, I stayed up all night and I took the voice module from that robot and I put him in this one and he can do all the commands now. You teach him, and that was the dancing scene.
Yeah,
I really like that. I really like that scene.
I really like that scene too.
I really liked where they first found him in the rain.
Very Iron Giant-y.
Very Iron Giant-y. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the park scene a little bit, just because it was just dumb fun, kid having fun with his robot, building him, dancing around, having fun, like you're supposed to do when you go see a movie. I guess if I had to pick a different one, I'd probably pick like. I thought the zoo scene was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Because I love how stubborn the little kid is. And he's like, when he like makes the deal with the guy, and he's like $100. He's like $500 for 2 rounds. And then it works all this way up to $1,000. And he goes in there. He's like just ready to fucking roll.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. Like he just wants to fight. And kind of him getting used to it. Hugh Jackman telling him like, oh, you should take a step back, dodge, left, back. Giving them cheat codes and stuff, so...
Up, down, left, right.
Right, yeah.
A, B. What's the Konami code? I can't remember offhand.
Yeah. Maybe left, down, right, up, down, select,
Something.
But the zoo scene, I thought was really cool and really fun, and it kind of demonstrated, like, this Rock'em Sock'em robot and his capabilities and stuff, and he even beats the big giant one. So I'll go with that zoo scene. And again, jumping ahead a little bit, but the screenwriter John Gattens that I talked about wrote Coach Carter and Fight and everything. He's the Mohawk guy, so he wrote himself in as the Mohawk guy. Cool. So I thought that was really cool.
Hey, I had a question I wanted to ask you. It's before their big fight against Zeus at the end of the movie. No, it's the first time. So they fight. It's before they fight the 2-headed robot. The the red one with 2 heads. They get called into the office back room with the other people, and they leave the robot, and it's like looking like this way, and there's a mirror, and it's looking at itself in the mirror, and you see its eyes lit up. Did you think for a brief minute that it was like gonna blink, and it was gonna be like there's some kind of like artificial intelligence or something. Because I thought the way that was set up, that there was going to be like, there's some kind of artificial intelligence or something in this robot.
Well, there's a lot of allusion to that, I think, throughout the film.
Yeah.
Especially with the kid, when he goes out for that late night jog with him. And then he has him pick him up and he goes, "Can you understand me?" And you kind of see it nod, but you're not really sure. And he says, "Your secret's safe with me."
You want it to go Iron Giant.
Exactly.
Like you're fucking waiting for it, and I kind of wish it would have.
I think it's alluded that there might be something there, but I like how they kind of leave it to you to decide. And especially like when Hugh Jackman's telling him, "Get up, get up, get up, get up," and then the kid goes, "Get up," and then he gets up. So I think there's something there.
Supposed to be a little something to him, maybe?
A little bit. But I like that they don't take it too far and say that, oh yeah, he's his own person and everything. It's just kind of, it's left up to you to decide. And but yeah, I think there's something there. And like they talk about Zeus's autonomous and everything, and he learns through each fight, and he knows he picks up. So it's not out of their realm of possibilities because they have that kind of technology. And so I almost wonder if like there's a little like an early model of that or something where he's kind of self-aware or something. I don't know, but it makes you
child's love that makes the robot.
but it also
I joke a little bit, but that's kind of what they allude to.
Yeah, definitely, and it kind of makes you because it's not just a robot anymore. You kind of feel more for it. And so you want him to get up, you want him to fight, you don't want him to get hit as much because you're starting to feel like there might be some kind of awareness there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad we brought that up because the mirror scene, the little boy saying your secret's safe with me, him yelling and he gets up to the kid, like there's a lot of
I thought that was like alluded to a little bit in the plot.
And that's something that maybe with a sequel, like they could go that way with it. But I think I'm glad that they.
But I'm glad that they didn't. We don't need like the Transformers movies, like the first one with Bumblebee and the talking through the radio. And
we don't need.
I'm glad they didn't do that.
Exactly.
Now, I mean, that works in that movie. It's fine for that one, but I think that would have been out of place.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like
then you'd have been seeing a robot that was like an actual person, not person, but an actual self-aware thing, getting the shit beat out of it.
Right. So yeah, like I said, I'm glad that they went the way that they did because it just gave you enough to kind of care a little bit more about it. They mention a lot,
like he's gonna die at the end of this fight.
Right. Yeah.
And they don't mean that in like.
They use a lot of human terminology with it, which I feel like we've talked about that before with like using human terms with robots. I feel like we've talked about that before. I don't know what that would have been about. Maybe it's, like if you know what the hell I'm talking about, but I swear we've talked about that.
Justice League with what's his name?
Cyborg? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look.
Poor Justice League.
So I think we're coming up in an hour. When we come back, we'll do some kind of final statements and we'll get into some trivia.
Okay.
So do you have any final thoughts or anything else you want to talk about before we get into trivia?
I watch the movie. I say that like all the time. I plead. This is my little 30-second plead with people to like watch the movie because I really think that this is a good one.
Yeah.
And an enjoyable film. It'll bring you back. It reminds me of like movies that I would have loved as a kid. I think if you have kids, it's a perfect family movie to watch, which seems like it's becoming more and more difficult as time goes on to find like kids movies that are worth a shit that you can watch with your whole family.
Definitely.
So this is one of them.
Yeah, I go through that trouble a lot, especially we'll scroll through Netflix and everything, and we'll try to find something that they like and that we'll also enjoy. And I mean, we've watched Tommy Boy. I talked about. We've watched we just watched Happy Gilmore. But those are all comedies. It's hard to find stuff like this. That's kind of it's a great mix. Like everybody of every age will enjoy. I thought last week I mentioned I just watched The Mummy again. At first I was like, oh yeah, like the kids will love that. It's like an action adventure. Mm. And then I started watching it, and then I was like, oh yeah, the scarabs. Oh yeah, he eats people. Oh yeah, like it's a horror movie disguised as an action adventure and everything. So,
but Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's really hard to find that subtle mix. But I think definitely real steel. I can't wait to watch it with my kids, like I said before. Mm-hmm. So I didn't write down trivia, so I'm pulling it up right now. I was a little unprepared.
Let me talk about Hugh Jackman while you're pulling that up, because we were just discussing that a little bit when we took during the break there. And isn't it so cool that he is just so talented that he can go from playing Wolverine to doing like
musicals,
like The Last Showman and stuff like that? Because that's a rare kind of talent to have.
Yeah, I hate people like that, like Will Smith. I hate those people that are like, oh, I just did a movie. Now I'm going to do some modeling. I'm going to let out an album. Like, fuck you.
You hear that he might be out as Deadshot?
Yeah, I saw something about that.
That's a shame, because I didn't really care too much for Suicide Squad 2, but I thought that Will Smith as Deadshot in particular, made that movie work. I thought that he was probably the most enjoyable part of it. And it's a shame that he's getting kicked out.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what's going on and everything.
Maybe they'll bring him back for a solo Deadshot film, but
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if DC knows what DC is doing at this point.
Warner Brothers,
thank you. Other than Aquaman 2.
Yeah, I guess.
Wonder Woman and Aquaman, I'm always down for more of those.
I'm down for Ben Affleck, but apparently I'm the wrong one. So jumping into some trivia, here we go.
Ben Affleck was originally cast as Adam.
Right.
That was him in the mocap suit.
Right. Each of the robots were built both in real life and CGI. For certain shots with animatronics, they were controlled by more than 20 puppeteers.
Explains why they look so good in the film.
That's fucking awesome. This is really cool too. Much of the robot boxing fights were motion captured using professional boxers, supervised by none other than Sugar Ray Leonard.
Ooh, cool.
Pretty awesome. I did not know this. This film is based on Steel, a 1956 short story by the I Am Legend author Richard Matheson. It was also made. Wow. It was also made into an episode of Twilight Zone called Twilight Zone Steel in 1963.
I had no idea.
I had no idea either. That makes me want to check it out, definitely. This is what I was talking about. Although Max is guzzling Dr. Pepper at the Parkway Motel, which might be I wasn't having trouble until I started reading. Suspected as product placement, Sean Levy mentions in the DVD commentary that the production only received permission to use Dr. Pepper without any money. The filmmakers wanted to use a recognizable product containing caffeine that would make Max hyper enough to have worked throughout the night.
That's crazy. It didn't even register to me that was product placement or not product placement. I didn't even...
I really like Dr. Pepper, so that's the only reason. I noticed if it was like a Pepsi or something, I'd be like...
I like Dr. Pepper too, but how is that any different than Back to the Future Nike shoes and all the other shit that's in... I mean, there's literally a shot of a Nike shoe front and center in that movie.
I made a quote about Back to the Future last week to Caitlin, and she didn't get it, so that's what I told her. I'm like, that's why I can't marry you.
So your separation papers are in the mail?
She probably would hate me if I told you guys, but she was wearing purple underwear.
Yeah.
And I walked by her, and I said,
Calvin Klein?
I said, I've never seen purple underwear before. And she goes, what are you talking about? I've worn them before. And I said, okay, Calvin Klein? And she had no fucking idea what I was talking about.
So you got a copy coming from Amazon Prime?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm done. This is why we can't get married. In an apparent nod to Rocky, the world champion robot is named Zeus, while in Rocky, the champion is named Apollo. In Greek mythology, Apollo is the son of Zeus. Let's see. And Midas's mohawk hairstyle is designed after the Roman centurion helmet, and also a nod to Clubber Lang, Mr. T's character in Rocky III.
Cool.
We've talked about this. I mean, this movie features 5 Marvel superheroes.
Yeah.
You have Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Anthony Mackie as Falcon, Evangeline Lilly as Wasp, Kevin Durant as the Blob, and Dakota Gaio, his son. He actually played young Thor in the Thor film. In the final fight scene, some of the shots of a logo of an Xbox 720 system can be seen.
Oh, really?
Apparently, they kept going up, but then in real life, they're like, no, Xbox One.
Xbox One. What do you think they'll call the next one? Xbox 2?
I don't know. I think this is kind of... this film has been considered to be a futuristic remake of Rocky. I don't see that really.
The story of Rocky is different.
It's not really the same.
Rocky had lost, 30-some fights?
He's lost quite a bit.
Yep.
I mentioned this. John Gatins plays Kingpin. The promoter at the zoo is the screenwriter. And then the girls that asked to take a picture in the beginning with Ambush. Oh, is that Ambush? Can we see him? Can we take a picture? Oh, $5. Those 3 girls are the director Sean Levy's daughters.
Oh, nice. I like when.
So that's pretty awesome.
When they do that.
And then last ones here. Charlie Kenton's idea, Hugh Jackman's character, to wear down Zeus's power supply by allowing him to repeatedly land blows on Adam was in fact a technique used by real-life professional boxer Ali. Nicknamed the Rope-a-Dope, Ali utilized the strategy to tire fellow boxer George Foreman, a much stronger opponent than himself, and eventually gained victory. Ali famously angered Foreman with the phrases such as, "Is that all you got, George?" during the fight, mirrored in the film by Kenton's taunting hand gesture. And I'll just read this last one, might as well. In a nod to the source story, the first fight with Noisy Boy was much like the fight in the book. It's pretty crazy. I didn't know this was a short story.
The short story was when, the 50s?
Yeah, it must have been. And then it was made into the Twilight Zone in the 60s. That's crazy.
That's cool.
Both were matches where the main character had to haggle his way in. Both lost early, and neither got the money they thought they were going to get. Yeah, that's all. I really want to see that short story now. And see that Twilight episode.
Jordan Peele's bringing back Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm down for anything Jordan Peele does. Extremely talented filmmaker.
Now, I was not a big fan of his comedy stuff with, what's his face?
Yeah, Keen Peele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jordan
Peele and...
Yeah, beside the point. But did you like Get Out? Have you seen Get Out?
Exactly. Yeah. So ever since then, I'm all on board. But I don't know. The skits are fine, but it's just I don't know. It gets old, I guess. I don't know. But as a budding filmmaker,
I think they're funny.
I'm definitely.
We need different voices.
After the AA Ron went viral and you can't go anywhere without somebody quoting it. It's just I get it. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, but the skit where they do the football players, they're...
okay. I guess I like
That's really fucking good shit.
I'm Alula, Michigan. What?
I like the one where it's just construction noises.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I guess there's a bunch of good ones of that. But.
Yeah.
So that's all the trivia. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we've hit pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
This one. Do we know what we're doing next?
Mummy? You want to do the Mummy?
We do the Mummy.
Yeah, I might as well.
I'm not. I was either thinking that one or Chappie, just to continue on with our trend. I don't know what Chappie is rated. Then
I'd talk about it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chappie would be a good one to do.
I haven't seen Chappie for a while. The first time I watched that one was in Minnesota with Mike at Vikings training camp.
Oh, really?
We went to Family Video and
got Chappie,
and then he brought a DVD player with him because of course. And so we hooked a DVD player up in the hotel room, and we're like, what do normal people do when they're on vacation? Go to bars, go to whatever. No, we went to Family Video and bought fucking Chappie and then watched it in the hotel room.
Whatever, that's fine.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I like Chappie. So check out PantheonNetwork.com. Everything's up there. All the audio from before we did videos up there, and of course all the new videos. There's a couple new t-shirts up there. I've been working on getting some new t-shirt designs out. I'll have one here soon that I'll be rocking. Not going to give it away yet. The Indie Gamer magazine, of course, is up there. Check out the Indie Gamer magazine. Comes out every month. Print and digital, so be sure to check that out.
You redid the website?
Yeah.
A little bit?
A little bit. I just...
refresher.
Yeah.
A little refresher on it.
Kind
I think
of
it looks nice.
changed some of the colors and made it a little easier on the eyes. So I did a little bit of work on that. Your podcast is up there, Attack of the Podcast. I think we're talking about getting that other one up there, so we'll be doing that. And then, definitely check out some of the new t-shirts. I think you guys will like them. So next week, you want to do Mummy, and then we'll do Chappie after that?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good plan.
Especially since Mummy's on Netflix right now. Might as well just crush it out.
I'm going to get you to watch Death Wish.
Yeah,
the one with Bruce Willis.
I forgot we talked about that.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, somewhere down the line.
Yeah. That's, I already have a huge conversation about that.
A lot of hate for that movie, but...
I don't hate it. You just
gotta put those...
precarious
You gotta put those thoughts and feelings aside, and just take the movie for what it is. I liked it a lot.
No, I'll see. We'll get to it.
Car falls on a dude.
I could watch Transformers and see that.
Yeah. Not like this.
Okay.
That guy's fucking head goes places.
So, episode number 70 will be The Mummy. We should do a live episode here soon, in the next couple of weeks or something. It'd be a lot of fun. You got anything else you want to talk about?
We should break the mold and we should go see Shazam when it comes out. And then do a live podcast.
That wouldn't be bad.
About it. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I would do
I think people would like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not against that. We could do that.
In the theater.
Just hold
with our phones like this, during the middle of the movie.
Oh my god! And stream the video, the movie to everybody. Oh my god. I think that's all I got. So next week we'll do The Mummy. And I guess we'll see you then. From the Panther Network Studios, this has been Shut Up I Like This, and we'll see you next week.